Ah, there is Samantha. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm so sorry that we couldn't meet as scheduled last Tuesday, but
It's okay.
okay, let me see what you're wearing. Let me just turn
Oh.
off commenting for just a second to see. Oh, what sari is that?
It's one I got in Madurai on my last trip. So,
Oh, okay. Is it like it's like a cotton sari or a silk sari?
cotton silk.
Silk cotton, oh, lovely.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, so Samantha, warm welcome to you to our series in the company of the sari. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, but please allow me to formally introduce you to everyone here. So Samantha Kannan lives in Illinois, Chicago, with her husband and her puppy. She fell in love with the sari while teaching in Kerala. And when they dressed her in a sari for class photos on the annual day, Samantha says she literally was over the moon. Her parents-in-law, who live in Madurai, helped her learn to drape the sari well, and now her collection, within just a year of being married, has grown to almost 40. And we're going to talk about that, Samantha. Samantha, by education qualification, is a psychology graduate and works in the field of marketing in Illinois. She recently published a book called A New Journey in July, which is about how and when she lived and taught in a village in Kerala. We're also going to be talking about that. In the coming months, she'll also be publishing a sequel about her wedding and a Tamil textbook. Wow, Samantha, I'm almost feeling embarrassed. I have to tell people that last week I shared a video of Samantha Kannan singing a popular song of Dhanush
Uh,
on Panjavanam Silks. And when I pinged Samantha to say hello about 4 days ago, I said hello, what's up, in very, very cool American lingo. And she said, Eppadi irkinga? And I was like, okay.
Sorry.
So, so welcome, Samantha. So such a pleasure to have you, and such a delight to see someone who is not inherently a part of this culture to kind of own it and feel so much love and passion in it. So, firstly, talk to us about you live in Illinois. How are things over there right now because of the pandemic and stuff like that?
It's not the greatest. You may have seen some headlines where people are having like anti-mask protests.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of public irresponsibility, but if that subsides, everything will get better.
Sure, yeah. But how has lockdown life been for you?
Actually, my office, they stopped doing work from home back in April. It was very
Oh,
alarming. Yeah, so I've been in the office, like obviously taking lots of precautions. Um,
right,
and then Kanan, he's been working from home continuously. So he's
right.
enjoying, he gets to be with the dog.
Oh, okay,
And
good.
I'm going to the office.
Lovely. Super. Samantha, so tell us a little bit about, like, did you grow up in the US, and, what was your childhood like?
It was actually a lot of people are shocked when they find out how my childhood was because my parents are extremely strict, extremely conservative, extremely religious. So then when I would talk about like how my parents were like, even in college, my curfew was 8 o'clock, and for every minute I was late, I was grounded for a day. I couldn't leave the house.
You're
So
joking.
no, I'm serious. So people are like, "Are your parents really American?"
Yeah.
So, like my father was born in 1942. Like they're in a completely different generation, so the mentality is very different. So I didn't
Right.
have all those freedoms that people assume Americans have.
So Americans do. Yeah. Wow. And so you did your graduation in the US,
Mhm.
Samantha?
Graduation in
Okay.
the U.S. Actually, I only live about an hour away from where I grew up. Like it's just convenient.
Okay. You said that you grew up in a small village in Illinois, right?
Mhm.
What is that village like? Can you paint a picture of that village for us?
So population like is 962 people. It's very small.
Oh, wow.
It was a majority of the kids who I went to school with were studying to be farmers. There was some, because there weren't any activities, there was some delinquency, like bad influences and things because of lack of activities. But overall, it was just very peaceful, very calm. Everyone knew each other. There was a lot of gossip because of that, but but it was very calm.
Yeah. So, okay, so like a young girl who grows up in a village where most people become farmers in Illinois, travels all the way to the other end of the globe to a village in Kerala. Now, how did that happen? Like, tell us about that.
So actually, when I was in college, I started living with a friend of mine because it was closer to the school, and her family was Punjabi. Then when her
This was in
when
Illinois?
yeah, in Illinois.
Okay.
I lived with them, and when one of their daughters got married, I wasn't invited to the wedding because I was raised so strictly, so quietly, that they were like, "You're too much reserved. I really don't think you'll be able to handle it." Just very nicely, not being mean. And then I have also this mentality of like, if someone tells me I can't do something, I want to prove that I can. So then I went to India by myself. I went to Mumbai,
Right.
and
Wow.
I just
How old were you then?
I was 22, and I didn't tell my parents until like the week before I left because I was so scared they would be furious.
Wow. And what did they say when you told them that?
They were just like, "Are you joking?" And then, of course, every worried parent, they'll find every negative news story within like 1,000 miles of where you're going.
Of course.
So it was, but I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. And then I just continuously, I've gone back every single year since.
So
So nine
which year
times
was
now.
this, Samantha? Which year was this? This when like
This was November 2012 was my first trip.
first trip to India, and you first went to Mumbai.
Yeah.
What was it like? Like, I mean,
It was very overwhelming. Like all of your senses, it's a sensory overload. Like all the things you see, all the things you hear, the things you smell, the things like the humidity when you step out of the airport. It's just like, hello, I'm here. So it was so different from everything I'd ever seen. And I just immediately was so transfixed because this is actually a huge joke between my husband and I. He's traveled more of the US than I have, and I've traveled more of India than he has.
oh, okay, wow,
So, because like the place where you grow up, you kind of take for granted. So
that's
I've explored more, and just I've completely fallen in love with every single place I've been to, and it's been a lot of fun.
so. The first time you came to Mumbai, and then where else did you go?
So the first trip I went to Mumbai and Mahabaleshwar. The second time I went to Mumbai, and then some of my Mumbai friends, we went to, like southern Goa, where it's like very calm compared to northern Goa. We went to
Right.
southern Goa. And then we went to, or I've also been to like Delhi, Missouri, Rishikesh, Bangalore. And then in Kerala, I've been Kumali, Kochi, Kollam, Trivandrum, Varkala, and then in Tamil Nadu, Madurai, Uti, Chennai, Kodaikanal. So just kind of everywhere.
First time your parents were upset, but the second time you decided to go, were they like okay with it?
They were just like, I don't think they realized how big India is. So they're like, really again? Like, what are you going to do now? So because most people, they'll go for a holiday and the next day they'll go somewhere else. So
Right.
they were just like, why again? Why the same place?
Yeah, but
But
what apart from the sensory overload, Samantha? What else about India fascinated you?
just the food is so good. I want to eat every second of every day, honestly. It's just like so many things because you can get them in the US, but they won't be as good of quality. Like the spices will be slightly different. And the people who sell them are so nice. You could just talk to them the whole day. Like I became friends with the sweet shop guy on my husband's road. Like everyone's just so nice, and you can talk to them about anything. They'll give you recommendations if you say something that you like. And here, they'll just say like, "Tell me what you want or go."
Right.
So it's just completely different.
Yeah. And when did you kind of, when did you, kind of, um, when did like the love for sari happen? Like,
Oh yeah, that happened when I was teaching in Kerala. So all of the teachers, I had seen them before, but I never really looked closely because we're kind of taught not to stare at people. So if I saw something interesting, I would quickly divert my eyes so I wouldn't be accidentally staring at them too long. So when I was in Kerala, all the teachers wore it every day, like uniform. And then when it came to class picture day, they said like you're going to be wearing one for pictures, and I was so excited.
uh,
And it took a team of four to do it. Of course, because like all of them are arguing among themselves, like no, this should go here, no, this should go here, and then someone's arguing about my hair, someone's arguing about my earrings. So it was a group effort.
right. So why did you start? Tell me about your teaching experience in Kerala. Like, I mean, why did you start teaching in Kerala? Like, what took you to Kerala?
So my very best friend was from Alua in Kerala, and I had previously been going only to North India, like Mumbai, Mahabaleshwar, Delhi. So he said to me, he was like, "Stop going to North India, like come to South. You'll like it more."
That's true.
So then I was looking at, because I kind of, in your mid-20s, you hit that realization where like, this is my life now. I'm just going to be sitting in a cubicle until I die. So I was looking online for volunteer opportunities because I was like, I like India. I want to go see my friend's state. So I found
Yeah.
this opportunity to teach in a village, and the MD actually had lived in Boston for 50 years. So then
Okay.
I started chatting with him, and he understood a lot of my hesitations, and he was extremely helpful because obviously life is going to be very different between, Kumbalam, little village, and Mumbai. So he was very helpful, and then I said, okay, and then I just went for 3 months.
For 3 months. Okay. And what were you teaching, Samantha? English?
Just English. They already had, like, the school English programs are phenomenal. But I just it was a ICSE school. And so I went in and I was more practicing, like, because he wanted them to have more of a grasp of American pronunciation, just to serve them in their future life, or to help them grasp English a little bit better. So like I would read passages, they would repeat me, and we would just kind of practice, or like make up skits and act and things. So it was a lot of fun.
Cute. Right. Super. So which year was that? I mean, your stint in Kerala.
That was I went in 2015 for 3 months, and then I went in 2016 for 1 month.
Oh wow! And how different did you feel like from a context and a culture perspective, like the North India and South India?
Honestly, like sometimes people get mad, but just in South India, I've found, maybe it's just because I've mostly been to like small towns, um, but people are so much more hospitable. And like if I go to Delhi, Mumbai, the auto driver is gonna charge me 5 times the rate. But like in South, no one has ever charged me even a rupee more. So I just kind of trust everyone more because no one's tried to, or like
Yeah.
I went in Missouri with some of my Mumbai friends. We went for a safari. Our Jeep, they charged us 5,000. The Jeep next to us, we were chatting with them, they charged them 2,000. So I was like, oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry. I've ruined your vacation.
Oh wow.
Because they were suffering because of me. So, but in
Yeah.
South, no one has done anything like that.
I mean, what about the the culture itself? Like apart from like the people, like I mean, the culture of colors and tradition. Were you fascinated with all of that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I remember one thing, I was a little bit sad that Kerala didn't celebrate Holi because I really wanted to see the colors.
Oh, you like
But
colors?
but besides that, like everyone is just a lot more calm, a lot more soft spoken. They don't feel rushed and anxious. They're just very happy. Like one of the bus drivers, Napoleon uncle, he would come, and when he found out I hadn't had coconut water before, like here, if you say you haven't done something before, they'll be like, okay, call me when you've had it. But he like actually took his bus, climbed the tree, took the coconut, brought it. Like
Oh,
the nicest people you'd ever meet in your life.
yeah, that's true. And when did you meet your husband?
We met at a function in the US. It was extremely
US.
boring. Yeah, it was a very boring function. So we were chatting, and he asked me what my favorite Indian food was, just like because there's nothing else to talk about. So
Yeah.
then, since I had been to North and South India, I just asked like North or South because my choice will be different. And he was so shocked I knew the difference.
Oh, wow.
So then we just started talking about like how I'd been to India and like my trips, all things I'd seen, and we became friends.
Okay, so how long were you guys dating before you got married?
About almost 2 years.
And how did your parents react to it? Like when you said
My
you wanted to marry
parents,
an Indian?
they honestly like him more than they like me.
Oh, that's great.
Because he's very formal. So like the first time he met them, he stood, he shook their hand, and they were just like so they really like him a lot.
Lovely. And what about your in-laws as well, Samantha? How are they? How did they warm up to you?
Same thing, because you know the media often shows foreigners pretty negatively. Like I'm sure you've seen, you've heard. So then upon like knowing me, there's kind of like shock. Like Americans can be like this,
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean, the stereotype, right?
yeah. So it's the stereotype's very negative, which kind of works against me sometimes. But
Yeah.
in regard to the general public, like my in-laws are absolutely phenomenal. They're great people.
And they live in Madurai?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. And you said you've been married for a year now, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I want to go back to that because this is a conversation essentially on the idea of the sari. I want to go back to that day when your friends draped you in the sari, four-member project where they draped you in a sari. And I want to ask you about, when you wore it, how did you feel? Like, what was that first moment like when you looked at yourself in the mirror?
When I looked in the mirror, I was shocked. Like it was, I was so excited about how it was gorgeous. Like actually, the picture that my most recent Instagram picture is the first time I wore sari. But I was so excited, and but I was so scared because here was this 6 yards piece of cloth held entirely by safety pins. Like, what if it fell? What if a pin came loose? I was so scared. I was so scared. I was like constantly looking down,
Yeah.
and I was very nervous. And I didn't know at that time, like, if you go up the stairs, you kind of hold the pleats a little bit. So
Yeah.
I was like walking like a penguin. But I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. But I mean, did you take to it naturally, Samantha? Like, did you feel good about it? And because obviously you obviously are somebody who loves the sari, like you've collected it over the years. So over 1 year, you have a fairly big collection. So I want to ask you, like, what about the sari really attracts you?
It's unlike, and I've spent so much time and so much effort learning how to do it correctly and like different styles of doing it, and it just it's so beautiful every time I wear it because it's actually a lot of people like my American friends ask me like, is it comfortable? Like it doesn't look comfortable, and I'm just like, it's actually extremely comfortable, especially like Georgette ones and everything. You can wear them for like a whole week, so it's extremely comfortable. It's among my favorite, and I've gotten actually sometimes I can do it in like 5 minutes now. I'm shocked at myself.
Wow.
Not silk, not silk. That takes a while.
Yeah, that's
but it's just I've worked so hard, and I honestly, it's so comfortable. I love how it looks, how it appears, how it feels, and I mean my husband likes it also.
yeah. And does your husband like it? Like, does he like the fact that you've kind of like warmed up to the sari? Because the sari in India is such a like a it's sort of a coming of age kind of garment. Like everybody like it's like the sign of somebody who's mature, who has connections with her culture. Somebody who's sort of I don't know. It stands for many things. It also represents confidence. It represents I don't know. So many interesting notions associated with the sari itself, right? So, do you feel I wanted to ask you about how, like, as an American who inhabits the sari, right? What is it about? Like, do you feel like you're sort of inhabiting another culture? And why do you think this this coming together of two cultures, and how the sari helps you make that connection.
It connect sorry it connects me with so many things. Like it gives me, endless topics to talk about with like my in-laws. And it also makes shopping very easy. My husband knows exactly what to buy me.
Right.
But it brings everything together so nicely, because even though I may not be able to adapt to every single aspect, like it at least gives me that kind of symbol, like I respect, and I'm learning, I'm adapting. So it's kind of that symbolism of like meeting halfway between cultures.
No, absolutely. That's such a crucial point, because also, I mean, I suppose it's true in America as well, but in India, marriage is really a marriage of two families, right? It's never about just two individuals getting married, right? So in some way, I guess to kind of win the family over, the sari also becomes an important sort of a starting point, so to speak. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are your in-laws like? Talk to me a little bit about, did they pamper you and help you grow your collection?
Oh, absolutely. They're extremely happy that I learned to drape them. I recently uploaded a video. I have an old YouTube channel I don't use that much, but so many people I become friends with are also in intercultural relationships, and they're like, I'm struggling so much. Or some girls who are in Indian families, they'll say like, my mom and my aunties make fun of me all the time. I'm too scared to ask them. Can you just show me what you do?
Oh.
So I uploaded just a quick tutorial, and so many people have messaged me, emailed me, and said like how helpful it was, and I was just so happy to know that I could help someone, because I struggled. Like if you see, it's so embarrassing. Our engagement pictures, I draped my own sari, and I thought I did a great job.
Oh, sure.
But when I look at the pictures, I'm just like, oh no, what was I doing? So like I kind of see my own progress, and how I've grown in it, and how much more comfortable I look. Like I feel like I look pretty natural. Like I can do it pretty easily now.
Yeah,
I don't
you
feel
look,
uncomfortable.
yeah, like a pro actually. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And you wear this to work once in a while, Samantha, in America?
It's actually, in a lot of offices here, it's against the dress code.
No, I had a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a pity, right?
I know.
So you'll have to change out of this when you go to work now.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll keep the earrings and like my kumkum or something, just to be like, haha. Just to kind of, but the sari itself I cannot wear.
Oh no. Samantha, talk to me a little bit about your book. I mean, I'm here struggling. Like I've been like a journalist and a writer for 20 years, and I've not got around to writing my book. And here you are, finishing two books back to back. Please, like, tell me the secret sauce. Like, I really need to know.
Oh yeah, so basically, I started writing it because I have a terrible memory, and I wanted to preserve all of my small memories and anecdotes of everything that happened. I wanted to remember them. Like obviously, I want my grandkids to be like, "Oh my gosh, this was the coolest thing ever." So I started just writing down the small memories, and then hearing, like, I'm sure you've heard some American stereotypes about travel in India. So when I got back, I was met with like, "Oh, was it dirty? Did it smell?" All these terrible assumptions. Yeah. So I thought, what better opportunity do I have than to dispel all of these stereotypes and rumors and nonsense than to show in my own words, like exactly how my experience was, and kind of, because when something hits the media, it's always negative. If it once clicks, it's going to be negative. So I wanted to take that opportunity. I mean, it's not negative, so it's not going to make as big of a splash, but I wanted to take that opportunity to show how things really are and how great of an experience it can be.
Right, fabulous. And your sequel is about your wedding.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
So that one I also wanted to do because it's a very common question. Like, what did you do? What were your reactions? How difficult was it for you to adapt? Like, because my family didn't come because they don't like to travel that much, and it's so far. It's a lot to ask. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, did your parents not approve?" Da, da, da. But my parents love him, so I wanted to also take that opportunity to kind of show like it was a great experience. Everyone loves Kannan. Don't worry. Everyone loved me. Like I just wanted to kind of take that opportunity again to dispel any
Yeah.
personal stereotypes.
Yeah. Also, like, there's so much, everybody's just so sometimes still, like, the older generation still so shocked with these cross-cultural marriages, right? So I guess it helps to, like, kind of make it, help people, like, warm up to it. And it's not so bad after all, or not so tough after all, right? I
I
mean, in today's
actually,
context.
a couple of people have emailed me or messaged me before to tell me that their family approved of their wedding only because of us, and I was just like, it was the best feeling.
Wow. That's fabulous.
Because they think like foreigners won't be adaptable, they won't be open to learning things, and then they see me who like learned to drape sari, learn Tamil, tries to adapt, learns everything, and they're just like, okay, maybe it'll be fine. So
Yeah,
it's just I'm
absolutely.
honored to have helped someone.
Yeah. So Samantha, do you think that, to kind of become part of a culture, it's important to have that sort of learning, you're like you talked about, like, you have to show interest in wanting to become a part of that culture, right? Do you think that's
Absolutely.
important?
It is like you both sides have to be adapting. Like a lot of people are under the impression that only I have done all these things for Kannan. But also, is it not a huge change for
Hello?
him to be here? Hello?
Sorry, I seem. Sorry, Samantha,
Oh, no,
your
no.
screen is blurred. So
Oh, sorry.
yeah, let me just wait for. Yeah, this is a little better now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this is good.
But he's also adapted a lot because both sides have to have that adaptability. Both sides have to want to go together because, like, it's just like hands. Like, both sides have to go. You can't have like one side, you know.
Yeah.
So both sides have to be equally adaptable, and it's not just the girl. It's not just one nationality that has to do it. Both sides have
Correct.
to do it and make compromises and figure out how they want to join their life together. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot of work, but it's worth it.
yeah. It's collaborative. Yeah, yeah. So Samantha, you grew. I mean, you spent a lot of time in Kerala, but you finally married a Tamilian, and you have a love for the Tamil language. So tell us what about? It's a really difficult language. I mean, I'm Tamilian, and it's a difficult language. It's not an easy language to learn. So how you like? How well do you know Tamil?
I know it pretty well. I've been studying for 2 years, and
Okay.
my tutor, I have class 3 times a week. He's extremely nice. He also stays in Madurai, actually. But
Oh
so
wow.
it's just I work very hard at it. We watch Tamil movies when we can. It's a huge dedication, but I mean I feel like it's necessary because there's so much concern with a lot of people are concerned with like the Tamil language decreasing in usage over generations. So like if
Right.
I don't know it, then how can future generations after me know it?
Yeah.
Like I also have to know it. Like I mean, I don't
Right.
know how much I can learn being like I'm 30 now. So I don't know how much is possible for me to grasp fully, but I mean, I can do the best I can.
That's fantastic. I mean, we should have had நம்ம தமிழ்ல பேசிக்கலாமோ? We could have had this conversation in Tamil.
கண்டிப்பா.
I mean, can you like converse in Tamil, Samantha? Like, I know that a few people were wondering if you could speak in Tamil. Like, what could like do say something in Tamil, so it'll just kind of.
என்னால் தமிழ்ல பேச
I lost you for a second.
No, no, it's okay. So, என்னால் தமிழ்ல பேச முடியும். ஆனால் நிறைய தப்பு இருக்கும். ஏனால் நான் கத்துக்கிறேன். ஆனால் எனக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணணும்.
Oh, wow, that's phenomenal. Oh, and this is
It,
like authentic Tamil. You're speaking like authentic Tamil.
yeah, people say I'm like a book.
Yeah,
But
like
like,
textbook Tamil. Wow.
even Kannan, he'll say like, speak more English. It'll make you sound more natural. But I just feel like when I'm speaking Tamil, I want to speak Tamil. So I'll just try. I always like, I see it as a mark of success for myself. If I could say a whole sentence without English words, I'm like, oh yay, I did it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, more power to you. I mean, which is the last Tamil film you watched, Samantha?
I think most recently I saw a Suran for like the third time.
Wow.
I
Okay.
love Danush so much. So
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah. Lovely.
really?
Yeah, I'm a big Dhanush fan. I've interviewed him a couple of times as well. So,
Have you really?
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so lovely. So that's fantastic. I mean, like, just to kind of like pursue, like, learn a language, and that too a typical language like Tamil. So you go to classes like 3 times a week online.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you like have homework and stuff to do?
Sometimes I do the homework, sometimes I don't.
Okay. Wow.
But
Fantastic.
I try. I try.
Okay, Samantha, I just want to ask you one last question before I let you go off to work.
Yeah.
Is about your sari collection. You said you have 40 saris. I want to know what is the type of what is the range like?
So my fanciest is obviously my marriage sari. And then I have like a simple cotton one, which is like 200 rupees. I have like mid-range, like my favorite is cotton silk just because of how easy it is and how
Yes,
lightweight it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And then I have some silks also, but then also lately I've been increasing my collection of like georgettes and chiffons for like,
Oh,
because I like to practice wearing them like in the house on weekend, just because you can practice walking, you can practice draping, you can practice carrying it nicely. So in order to do that, I like to wear them in the house sometimes. And
right,
so I've also been recently building my collection of that because you don't want to wear the same two saris every time.
right. Of course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So when is your next? Obviously, like now because of the pandemic, like whatever. Like, but I suppose when you come to India, you will obviously shop for more saris, right?
Oh, of course.
Lovely. But but it would be lovely if you have you ever come to Chennai?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I've been twice.
Okay, okay, lovely. So next time you're here, we'd love to, I'd love to meet you in person and like
Oh,
have a
absolutely.
conversation in Tamil. And I'd love for you to go to Panjavarnam Silks and like shop for saris as well because they have some fantastic ones. And I mean, Samantha, talking to you has been fantastic, truly inspirational, actually, on so many levels about leaving home, finding a new home, doing whatever it takes to kind of become part of culture, using literature and the sari as initiators into sort of foraying into a new culture. It's fantastic and staying with it. I don't know to read and write Tamil, and I'm almost embarrassed now that I should like pursue and learn my mother tongue like a little better. But it's been great fun talking to you. Thank you so much for taking time off. I know it's early morning in the US, right?
Only a little. It's okay.
Okay. Also, I didn't ask you anything about your puppy. Talk to us about your puppy.
Okay, she is very, actually her name is Jimiki because she has a little spot on her ear like an earring. She's 70 pounds. She's a giant. Um,
Oh, I got fooled by the word puppy.
oh, no, well, she's only a year and a half old. So technically until she's 2 years old, she's a puppy.
Oh,
Come, darling, up, up. Oh, this is her now.
oh, oh, wow.
Hi, princess. Good girl.
And Jimiki. Hello, Jimiki.
Yes.
That's cute.
She's very naughty, but she has good character.
How lovely. Thank you, Samantha. And I mean, I really hope like you get to wear more and more saris and inspire more people across on your side of the world as well to wear saris and to engage with it. And we're really so happy that you kind of took time off to be with us today. Thank you so much and have a great day.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Bye bye.
Bye.